Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Terrace Theater for this evening's Millennium stage presentation brought to you by Target and the Marriott Foundation. As a courtesy to this evening's artists and other audience members, we ask that you turn off your mobile device at this time. Photography and recording of any kind during the performance is prohibited. The Millennium Stage presents a free performance at 6 p.m. 365 evenings a year. All of our performances are broadcast live and available on demand at www.kennedy-center.org. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the curator of this evening's presentation from Head Rush, Munch Joseph.
Good evening, good evening. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I know we just want to kind of get into this. I just want to thank you so much for staying with us. I don't know how many people out here who have been to a J Dilla tribute. How many? Show of hands, a J Dilla tribute. You know, we started this thing in 2006, just based on the pure energy of Dilla's music and our shared love for what he does. And for our 10-year anniversary, we wanted to do something a little different, a little special. We didn't want to do just the concert again, which is phenomenal anyway, but we wanted to make sure we added something special on top of that, something a little more personal. So, y'all know about the show tomorrow? Yes, who doesn't know about the show tomorrow? Okay, good shit. They have us in this room so that we can cuss, so. But tomorrow night, 10-year anniversary, featuring Common, Slum Village, J Davy, George Anne Muldrow, Ninth Wonder, DJ Spinna. I can go on for days. We got a slew of some of the dopest artists in the area. Wes Felton, Musina. I can go on and on. But we're just going to continue on. If anybody needs some information about the show, we have flyers outside when you leave, and we also have some shirts as well. So, without further ado, I want to bring up our moderator for tonight, Combat Jack.
Washington, D.C., how you guys feeling tonight? This is such an honor. When I got the email about a month ago as to whether I'd be interested in moderating this esteemed panel, I jumped at the opportunity to do this. You know, I've been, as we've all been, touched by Dilla's music, but because he was so great, because there's so many different levels to, his mastery of the art form, I think it's so great that we have experts, or people that we consider experts, people that he knows, people that he actually touched physically, to come on stage tonight and discuss the legacy of Dilla and his music. So I'm going to introduce one by one our fellow panelists. Please give them a round of applause. First and foremost is Georgia Anne Muldrow, producer, singer, songwriter. DJ, producer, remixer, DJ Spinna. The one, the only, Ninth Wonder. Curator and museum specialist, Timothy and Burnside.
All right.
Without this man, we might not know the greatness of Dilla, Mr. Amp Fiddler. And last but not least, the members of Slum Village, RJ and T3. How you guys doing tonight?
All right.
Good.
Great.
Yeah. This is really impressive. You know? Oh, thank you. How y'all feeling out there? You know, I want to start off, I kind of want to go through as much chronologically as possible in terms of, you know, the evolution, the creation, the occurrence that was Dilla. So I want to start off with Amp. You know, they say that you really don't gain your blessings until you show gratitude. So I guess every Dilla fan has to show gratitude towards you.
Thank you for that, love. I appreciate that.
Legend is you presented Dilla with his first beat machine, the MPC.
I had an MPC 60 back then when T3 and Dilla walked onto my back porch.
Okay. What was it about Dilla that would propel you to give you machinery?
I think I was propelled to help any kids at that time that were interested in creating and being creative, because there wasn't a lot of kids in the neighborhood that were interested in production and being artists, and they had a passion about it. And Dilla had even a stronger passion about learning the MPC. He was really excited about creating. And so I had to help him with that because it was exciting to see kids that way.
Now, when you blessed him with the MPC, did you know that was there a lot of training involved, or did he just take to it automatically?
There's always a learning curve when it's the first time that you see a piece of technology, of course. But for him, it was natural because he had the affinity for music and rhythms and sampling and making beats. And I was in his head. That was his dream. You can just feel that. So it was a natural thing, I think. It takes time for anybody. You know, I had to show him things from time to time. He knocked on my door many a days.
What kind of student was he, though? Did he absorb it? Was he reluctant? Did he see his own way? Was he hard-headed?
No, I think he was pretty astute about learning, and he was definitely very content and adamant about making it happen and learning it. He was very serious about it. It was no joke. He was always serious. We really joked about things. He just came in and went straight to it, and would ask me questions about certain things. But it was serious business for him. He wanted to learn that machine and get it down as fast as he could, and create as fast as he could.
T3 and RJ, you guys grew up with Dilla, right?
Yep.
When y'all created Slum Village, did y'all have any idea that your music would go past, you know, geographical boundaries and really resonate with the world? Did you have any idea?
Of course not.
No.
We was in Coney Gardens, east side of Detroit, and we just so happened to stumble upon somebody else in Coney Gardens who helped us and showed us the way to start, you know, being able to even record. I mean, that was like the first studios, besides his dead studio, who we later recorded in. So, no, we had no clue. Most of the music and the passion for it was built on just friendship and a lot of comedy.
Right.
Like jokes and stuff, really.
What do you mean like comedy? Like what kind of jokes?
Like if you ever saw us, we had our own little jokes. You'll see us, we was in the corner holding our mouths like this. And we would just mimic people and do impressions. And back then, hip hop was kind of zany, and you danced a little bit. You know, you can have fun. You put on fun elements. So that's how we kind of build our friendship through that.
Did y'all have any idea? Because my introduction to y'all was through Fantastic Volume 2.
Right.
Did y'all have any idea when y'all were making it that, yo, this is the shit?
Well, thank you.
Can I curse?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, when we did Volume 1, you got to go back to Volume 1.
Right.
We basically did that. We did that because we were mad at another group. Basically, Dilla had produced a whole cassette for this other group, and they was bragging about it.
A group that shall remain nameless, or?
Oh no, it was fine. They the homies.
Okay.
So we basically got mad, and we just went in the studio one day. YG hyped us up, and we went in the studio, and we did the whole thing in a week. We did Volume 1 in a week. So we talk about 22 songs with remixes, all the rhymes, everything, in 1 week.
In 1 week.
1 week. Now, once we did that, then I knew, I was like, man, we owning something. And we only did 300 cassettes. And we passed them out word of mouth. So we hooked up with Amp. And he introduced us to Q-Tip on the Lollapalooza tour. And then that was history.
So Amp, man, like you play it forward, and you try to tutor these guys as much as possible.
Yep.
They come back and they give you this. It was a cassette, right?
Cassette. Well, the first demo they didn't like. Q-Tip didn't like the first demo. Let me go back. The first demo was 5 songs, and Q-Tip just liked the beats.
Right.
Only. Didn't like Slum Village at first.
So true.
Let's go back.
That's true.
Then we did volume 1.
They give you this brilliance. What's your reaction to it?
Whose?
Yours. What's your reaction when they give you?
Oh, man, I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, are you sure you listen to it? I mean, for real? So he was like, yeah, man, asked him to make another beat tape. So I went back and they gave me another tape eventually. Yeah.
But when you heard it, what was yours like?
I loved it. You know, I loved anything that Dilla did. So
okay.
And as a team, I thought it was brilliant. So I thought it was the next shit as far as I was concerned. So
now, legend has it that Q-Tip gave y'all one of the best accolades.
Yeah.
By saying that Slum Village
Yeah.
was exactly like A Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, that was.
Dilla didn't like that, right?
No, we didn't like that.
Y'all didn't.
Well, it was a gift and curse. Number one, Tribe is like my favorite group
Yes.
of all time. So, number two, the fans of Tribe were mad at Slum Village. Like, we killed Tribe. Like, nah. And number three, when we went to do that song, we was just wanting to do a song with Tip. And he just decided at that time he wanted to let the rap game go and put it on our album.
Right. So
You
it was,
know what I'm
it was
saying?
around the time that they were pulling out.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Which was
So y'all must have got a lot of hate, man.
No, we got so much hate on
Y'all
volume-
lucky
on-
Twitter didn't
We
exist.
got so much hate that it was ridiculous. So that's volume 2. That people. So a lot of those people, a lot of magazines retracted, and then they called volume 2 a classic later. But at that time, we got murdered.
I could imagine.
You know what I'm
I could imagine.
You know.
You guys have so many heat rocks on that album, man. But can you talk about the creative process for Raise It Up?
Raise It Up.
Raise It Up is so fire.
Okay, Raise It
man.
Up was that's one of the records I was hesitant. I didn't like Raise It Up.
Why?
Well, because if you listen to the rest of the album, it's real soulful, and this was like the curveball, and I was like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what, Dilla, if you come with a rhyme first and make me like it, then yeah, okay. And then he did the super rhyme that he did on it. I was like, okay, yeah. And then that's when I thought, okay, if you talk about all the stuff that you not like, I could do maybe, and then we figured out how to put the whole concept together. But initially, I didn't like the record.
Wow.
And then we got sued for that record for a whole nother, but didn't because
We won't get into that.
yeah.
We talk about Dilla as a producer, but how was it working with him? Number one, in a producer capacity, and then him as a fellow MC.
A lot of people sleep on Dilla on the rhymes. Really, he was like one of the dopest MCs. He started out MCing while he was making beats. It was always the same craft. Like, he was the first guy that I seen. We used to invent styles all day, so he had this rhyme where he was doing like this stutter flow. He was like, maybe if you must have, it was like just ahead of his time, just the flow and the rhyme. So to me, he was always an MC/producer. They was the same for me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I always saw
Do
it.
you think it's, the gift and the curse? Do you think the fact that his production, since he spread his production so vastly, that's what overshadowed maybe people recognizing him as an MC?
Yeah, and the fact that it probably blew up first.
Yeah.
What he came out as a producer first, but to me, he was always doing that. And we all were producers, me, him, and Batin, and rappers. So we all kind of had that craft because he was pushing us to produce as well.
Ninth, your introduction was through Get This Money, the Office Space soundtrack.
Office Space soundtrack. That was around the time. I think I've known Fonte Coleman for 2 weeks at that particular time.
Only 2 weeks?
Yeah, when you find somebody who loves the same music as you, that's your best friend automatically, right? So he said, man, come to my room, and we was at North Carolina Central, and he said, come to my room, man, and listen to this group. And so he played me, you know, at the time, Office Space is still is one of my favorite movies, right? And he was like, man, listen to this group, and it was Get This Money. And if you watch Office Space, it's faintly in the background when they're at the bar, right? So I said, man, what in the world? And it was just so different because at that particular time, you got to understand, a lot of us had retreated to the underground because we thought the radio sucked.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
You were right.
Right.
Still.
I think, yeah, still do right. I think a lot of people outside of hip hop don't understand how much there's a division amongst us when it comes to like that 95, 1996, where a lot of us like, all right, the hell with the radio, we're just gonna run, and we felt like refugees in the woods, like, right? And it was the Office Space soundtrack, but it was also when Q-Tip and Dilla had a joint on the Funk Master Flex Volume 2, and that joint, and that's when I first heard Q-Tip did it, but Dilla did it again. Well, come on, everybody, get down with us. That type of flow, and you know, just that. But then everybody wanted to put Slum Village in like the conscious box, and I'm like, are y'all listening to the lyrics?
We not conscious.
They say
Yeah,
some
at
ratchet
all.
in
Y'all
those
listen,
poems.
like, are you listening to climax? What they really saying in the song? So, you know, that's when I got introduced to Dilla for the first time, was those two. And then you went back and did the research. Oh, he did Running. Oh, he did Stakes Is High. Oh, he did Got Till It's Gone. Oh, he did, right. You know what I mean? And it just kind of ballooned from there.
Now, how the hell did y'all get Raise It Up on the soundtrack? How did that happen?
I mean, you mean, how did we get that?
Get This Money. How'd y'all get This Money on the soundtrack?
Yeah, that was through Interscope at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Now it's crazy. The record that you felt the least was the one that had more legs at the time.
Well, yeah, Raise It Up was always a big joint for us when we did that. So yeah, we still do that song every show now. You know what I'm saying? And Get This Money. Yeah. Georgia, what was your introduction to Dilla? What was your introduction to Dilla?
My introduction to Dilla was really, I think, like him as a producer, because I mean I've been exposed to him for a long time, but like how Ninth was saying when he was making the connections as far as this is the guy that made everything that's the bomb, that it was really through YG having that Bling 47, okay. And my brother was like, hey, man, you heard of Bling 47? I was like, well, I don't know now. We went up there, we started ordering stuff off of there. You know, the J88 stuff, and that was that. You understand? And that. So, yeah, basically it was really through, and the ironic part about all of it, I don't know if irony is the right device to use, but it feel good. So basically, you know, YG, what he did in advocating for him as a producer, you know what I'm saying? That is what exposed all the timeline, like, wow, he made all the stuff I love, you know what I mean? Like realizing that it's the same person, you know? And so that's what it was. And then, you know, that was my first gig in hip-hop. YG was my first gig.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it was really through the Bling 47 stuff.
Let me interrupt you for a second. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce Musiq Soulchild to the panel.
All right. There you go.
Now, Georgia, you know, to hear people talk about your music. You all right, bro?
How you doing? All right now.
When you hear people talk about your music, when you hear someone like a Mos Def say that your music is like religion, and you try to wrap your brain around it, but then you look at the clip of you remixing Untitled, fantastic.
Great job too, by the way.
Thank you.
It was amazing. Like, can you talk about? Have you seen the video clip of Georgia remixing Untitled? Fantastic with her baby on the lap. Can we give her a round of applause for that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's when I still had an MPC. Ready to go.
Can we talk about that experience? And
it was wonderful. You know, it's my brothers, you know, in LA, Mochilla, that's Eric Coleman and B+, a photographer duo, and they really are artist advocates. They try to put things together to make the local artists, you know, be working. So it's really a beautiful thing to what they do. I mean, they do that all over the world, too, with just different people. I'm talking about they'll go to the favelas in Brazil, go all the way to the top and say, here's a gig. You know, I mean, they are serious. So I appreciate for them even considering me for that thing, because it really was Miguel Atwood Ferguson's arrangement of that music, and he is a beast. He's incredible. Like, he reminds me of like a new age Hindemith or something. Like, he's crazy. His arrangements is just, it's great modern classical music, you know? And it's beautiful when people can, I don't know, people can like merge them worlds together, so people can get hip to like what it could expand to live performance wise. But basically, they came to me and they wanted me to do the remix. They said, which one you want? And nobody had Fantastic. I was like, well, that's gonna be mine. Yeah, I ain't worried about it. So and I did it while they was there. They wanted me to do it right. I'm like, oh, right now, like
I gotta put my.
I'm gonna do it right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I just went. Since the track was going, I decided instead of to chop it, just to track all the way through, you know, and not loop it up, but just to play my feeling all the way through, you know, and it was really you know, it was emotional, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you go through your life. I mean, for me, you know, when I got exposed to JD's stuff, I think I was about 15 years old, you know? Like, I mean, it gave me something. You understand? It gave me something. And I, them, Slum Village, you guys, and Lupac and stuff, like being a freshman in high school and being like, ain't none of y'all on this right here. Oh, on the bus home, you riding the bus, and y'all like, ooh. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then there was a song, a Busta Rhymes song got popular, and everybody think they hip hop. You like, yeah, that's cute, you know. Yeah, okay, you starting to get fresh, but nah, y'all don't know, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, for me, it gave me, just like what you were saying, just like, yeah, it was like that refugee feeling like, oh, no, there is a place for me. There's a place for me to express myself. I don't have to put on no shiny suit. I don't have to coon out. I don't have to do all of that stuff and be up here shucking and jiving and stuff. I can be myself, you know? So that's what y'all did. Y'all did that.
Can we talk about you doing all that greatness with your son on your lap, though? Like, can we talk about how great that was?
What happened? I'm sorry.
With your child or your baby on your lap?
Oh,
though.
he wasn't going to be nowhere else. I was still his cow, his personal cow. So he wasn't going to do nothing else, you know. But, yeah, he just sit there. But, I mean, really, from when I was carrying him, I was be in the studio. He'd be dancing around up in there. And really, like, when I had him, he remembered the beats. Like, some beats that play, he'd be like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So until he got too big, and I mean, for me, like I learned later, like in Africa, you know, until the child's like 3 years old, the mother always keep some type of hand contact on the baby, you know? So for me, it's like, that whole experience helped me find myself too. Like, you know, that whole working woman stereotype and you in a blazer and you get somebody else watching your kids and all of that. It was just like, nah, you a part of this. You make me better.
It's a very special moment. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I play better congas when I'm breastfeeding.
Okay.
Spinna, you're world-renowned, amazing DJ. You hear music from all over the place, man, but you've been very vocal about, you know, claiming Dilla to be the greatest of all time. From your ears, man, why do you proclaim that, yourself personally?
Wow, well, it's very personal for me because I was with Dilla from day one as far as him being influential, because I also produce. You know, I make records. I've been involved with hip-hop primarily on the underground scene since the mid-90s, embarking on 20 years already now. So
That's crazy, right?
yeah, so basically my first encounter was really running Far Side.
Yeah.
The B-side drop, I think that may have been like the first official Dilla production to come out that everyone kind of knew, you know, because it was really popular. He had other underground things going on around that time in Detroit, but that was that single was the one that was like, okay, who is this guy? You know, made you pay attention. And then when Tribe came out with Beats, Rhymes, and Life, and we heard Wordplay, that was like, okay, something serious is going on right here. You know what I'm saying? And that's when we producers especially, we just kind of bumped our heads and was like, what is he doing? You know what I'm saying? So when T3 talks about, you know, Tribe kind of getting hated on, my perspective was they're reaching for something different, right? Something to kind of bring them into another stratosphere, because they always, as a group, they always remained ahead of the curve. Tribe is my favorite group as well. So what Dilla did for that group was, you know, they changed a little bit, but it made them a little bit more edgy, and it was because of him. So, you know, started paying attention to him, and then here comes Slum Village.
Yeah.
Here comes these, you know, white label bootlegs that I was getting in England, you know, Fantastic, and
Yeah, a lot of them.
We Beat Them, and, you know, and the records were just amazing. The production was so different. So looking at it from the producer's eye, you know, every once in a while we get producers that come around that kind of changes the template, or changes the scope or the face, the character of hip-hop. And Dilla is one of those guys. You know, when he came around, he did something that shifted the matrix and made everybody pay attention. And as a result of that, we have a whole generation of, you know, the Dilla generation of producers that we have a new sound thanks to him. So that was the beginnings. And then I met him. You know, we met, the first time I met him was in 95. I was doing community radio on WBAI, Underground Railroad. I was the DJ, resident DJ for that show. And Tribe came up with Dilla, JD, and after the show, we talked, and, you know, we kicked it briefly about production methods and what machine you use, you know. And I was still on the SB 1200 and the 950 at the time, and he was already advanced into the 3000. You know, actually, he may have been the reason why I got a 3000. You know, so, you know, and then it just continued. We remained, we stayed in contact when we could speak, and we talked about records and samples. So, you know, it was a lot. And then the other thing that happened that was really special to me was one of my first remixes was for De La Soul, for Stakes Is High, which is a Dilla production. So very early on, I got to work with him indirectly by remixing that record. And that was a challenge because that was a 3-bar loop, which in hip-hop was alien. Like, nobody was doing that at that time. So, you know, I did that. I co-remixed that with my brother Jock Max from Kansas City, and he found the loop. And I did the drum programming, and we put it together, but it was a challenge. Yeah. It really was a challenge.
You talked about how, even though the relationship was organic and real, at times it'd be intimidating to work with?
Yeah, you know, when you have someone that forward-thinking, you definitely, I mean, you know, I guess in music we get that, you know what I'm saying? Like, even since the jazz era or whatever, like, there's always that artist that comes along that, you know, you kind of like, you know, it's kind of like friendly competition in a way, you know, because they're so magical and they do these things that you just don't understand, you can't explain it. So yeah, there was somewhat of an intimidation, but at the same time, I had my own thing going on as well. You know, right. I had a slew of artists that I was working with, so I was in my own lane. He was in his own lane, but I will say that he was, for a very, very long time, especially later, like the last 10 years or 8 years, he was that guy that I looked up to. You know what I'm saying? Like, to keep me on my toes, and I was a fan. We were friends. We talked, but I was a fan. Like every single JD record every record that came out that had his name on it, I was buying it. And I had the opportunity to express that gratitude to him on the set. You know, the picture that you see on the screen was taken at during Winter Music Conference in Miami about 2002. And I remember that year I did a gig with Jazzy Jeff and Kenny Dope at the Marlin, and he was in Miami, I think, with Frank and Dank at the time, and he came through and hung out, and the majority of my set was Dilla records. So I was playing, like, you know, some of his more obscure stuff. There was like a bootleg remix EP that came out around that time that had like another version of Stakes is High and Woo Ha and Busta Rhymes remix, and you know, I let him know that yo, you my man, and I got your back. Since then, so it's not like post Dilla after death thing. It's like yo, and we talked. We talked about records, samples, all of that, and it was a mutual respect. You know what I'm saying? Like he respected what I did, and the gratitude was returned.
Music, man, your music is amazing.
Thank you.
You know, and consistent. Very consistent. And you've been very vocal about championing the legacy of Dilla. What's your relationship with Dilla?
It's a very I don't really know how to like. It's weird because how it started didn't necessarily lead it to how you would expect it to go. And our relationship was very indirect, you know, through phone conversations, through text messages. Like the dude sent me beat tapes to my door, but I never actually sat in any place with him. I only saw him physically in person 2 times. Both times, I don't think he knew who I was. The first time I saw him was at Electric Ladyland Studios. He was doing something, and I was running down the steps, and he opened the door, and I was like, neither one of us knew who either one of us looked like.
Right.
So when I finally, got to know who he was, I was like, I think that was Dilla that day, yo.
Oh, man.
And I was like kicking myself, you know. No, actually, that was the second time. My bad.
Okay.
The first time, T, I don't know if you remember. All right. So how I got started, real briefly, was I was living on the streets, and it was some people that knew I could sing, and they wanted to see if they can get some songs out of me. It's a long story that is very unnecessary to get into, but the point of that is the studio that I was working at was a studio called A Touch of Jazz Studios. It was ran by DJ Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince, and all that. And Slum had a concert at Electric Factory, I think it was, in Philly. And I'm still like in, like street mode. So like I'm wearing like the same clothes I had for like the last 3 days. The guys,
Kick a little funky, man.
I wasn't funky. I was clean. I was clean.
Let's get that straight.
I don't care. I will beg a dude for $1 to take my clothes to the laundromat. Like,
okay.
I might not have a place to stay, but bruh, I'm real big on hygiene.
That's good to know, man.
With $1 or nada, I'm gonna be fresh, bro. Make no mistake about that. But we was so fast forward, y'all came to town. Y'all had a show at Electric Factory. Y'all stopped at the studio, and then all 3 of them. God bless the ones that passed. All 3 of them came, and Jeff was with them too. And I'm walking around with all 3 of them. Still, I don't know who these dudes are. This is like in 98, 98, 99. something like that. And I would just hang out with cats at the studio because they fed me, you know. So we got time, you know what I'm saying, at the studio. And was like, yo, you gonna eat? Like, yeah, okay, yeah, I can be there, yo. I wasn't doing nothing. I wasn't doing absolutely nothing, yo. So they came, and I'm walking around, and there was two other producers, D and Ivan. They was there, and they was like, you don't know who? I was like, nah, I never heard of. I heard of Tribe. I never heard of Slum. He was like, well, that dude right there, that's Dilla. He, you know, part architect of the whole what we know as the Tribe Called Quest sound. I'm like, okay, cool. And he was explaining to me while we standing in front of the Foot Locker, and Jazzy Jeff was in there, and people was like, is that Jazzy? He was like, nah, that's not Jazzy Jeff. I was like, why did you lie to me? It's like, you understand about celebrities, like they like the space, you know. Right. So that was my first run-in with Dilla. Actually, the whole Slum T too. Like, you know, first time I ever met them. And then when I was mixing, I was in Electric Late Night because I was mixing a song that wasn't going to make the album on my first album, I Just Want to Sing, but it made it, and we had to get a studio on. When that was available was Electric Late Night. So I was upstairs, you know, I had to go downstairs, go get some food, and he opened the door, and it was right there. He was right there. And then I'm like, I think it's him, but I got to go. Right. And then later on, I was like, that was him. So I reached out to him during working on my third album in 2003. Obviously, it never got there. Whole lot of political label crap. Again, so unnecessary. And I felt like, and this is what I mean by when I first said what I said, I felt like there was equal parts something drawing us together and something keeping us apart for whatever reason, I don't know. And somebody mentioned it like a couple years ago. So if you would have just did the album with it was a musician friend of mine, with me and Dilla, that would have been the whole Musiq Soulchild sound. I was like, yep. But people caught wind that I can really sing, so they want to make me do ballads.
Right.
I hate ballads. I hate them. Because you will never be able to recreate that feeling that you got. I will never live up to that, dude. And people just be looking at me like, give me the feeling that I got off the album. I don't know how to do that.
It ain't gonna happen.
And I could do it way better.
Right.
But they don't care. It's not how you did it on the record.
Yep.
So that's why I don't hate ballads because I don't like them per se. I hate them because of the elements that it brings, you know, that you can't never live up to it, you know, so. But, and with that whole melodic and emoting and all of that. Now, with rhythmic stuff, I could do that on call. That's easy. That's not hard at all, you know. And he had a lot of that, you know. So I remember asking him, yo, I'm working on my new album. I want you to be on it. And he sent me a bunch of beats. He said, well, what are you looking for? I said, I don't know, like, and this is before I really understood what type of producer he was. Because I'm used to being in Philly, musicians, getting in the studio, blah, 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 blah. I didn't understand the concept of taking, not samples, taking pieces of another record and using it like you would a batch of sounds. Mm-hmm. You know, I want a hat from that record. I want the snare from that record. I want, you know, and some of them came with vocal parts. So, you know, and you can't shave off a two-track, you know. So you just put it together, and that within itself, and how he thought, you know, and put it together. He was orchestrating records, not instruments. He was orchestrating. That was his genius, you know. So he sent me like a CD had maybe like 5 or like 7 joints on there. So he asked me, I was like, I don't know, I kind of like always wanted to like mess around with like, you know, you know that dancing machine joint, you know, Michael Jackson. He's like, yeah.
Jackson 5, yeah.
Something like that feeling, that thing. So he said, okay, I'm gonna see what I can do. This dude sends me a track where he like. Y'all know his dancing machine, bruh. Like, and I'm listening to this like, I was like, what?
I can play that for you if you want me to play. I can play that.
Can you play that?
This one to my door. Sent this to my house in Philly.
That's so bad.
That's crazy.
Okay. I'm about to cry. So this, yeah, J Dilla. So then, I'm like, and why isn't he like mainstream wise? Why isn't he everywhere? What's wrong? Something is wrong.
Right.
Right. So I took those beats, and then I have a couple other people who had Dilla beats. It's like folks was like trading Dilla beats like baseball cards, like it's crazy. Yo, how many you got? I got about 20. Yo, I got about 100. So
I got this one right here, though.
Right. So the last time I remember, and I just stopped. I was in the studio. I'm jumping around, but I was in the studio working on my last album actually, and Buster came in, and I was like, we got into of course, anytime anybody is of any level of separation of Dilla, it always comes to Dilla. It don't matter. Like you cease to matter, and it's all about Dilla. Right. So then we started talking about Dilla, and I was like, yeah, but he sent me some beats. He was like, yo, you got Dillas?
It sounds like Buster. That sounds just like Buster.
Yeah, Buster. How many you got? I don't know, maybe like 50 or 100. And he was like, oh, that's cute. I was like, dude, like, this is not a competition. So, that just took me back. So, anyway, so I got a whole bunch of beats, right? And I said, you know what? I'm going to do my own project, where I did an entire 10-song project and never saw the light of day. I played it for 2 people. I played a couple songs for Amir, and I played the whole joint for Robert Glasper. This was in like, 5, something like that.
Yeah, I ain't hear that one.
Y'all making me think about I gotta dig it up and actually do it.
Right.
No, he's about to beat me up. But my thing is, and this is a very important thing that a lot of people that know me don't understand, and I didn't know how to like express it and articulate it. All right. There's the music industry, and then there's people who make music.
Yes.
The community.
Yes, Lord.
There's a community. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. There's the music industry, and then there's the music community. All right. I was stuck in the music industry.
Which is a harsh place to be stuck, man.
And I didn't want to include people from the community in my line of path because we would do greatness that will never see the light of day that somebody else would own.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So I sacrificed the potential of doing some amazing things because I didn't want it to fall into the wrong hands.
I got you.
So everybody took it different ways. Some people think I'm a jerk. Some people think I ain't about it. Some people think I ain't really real. And it's fine. I personally don't care what you think about me because I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. And in the future, actually, that the future that was the future then, that's the future, that's the present now.
Present now,
Yeah,
right.
there you go.
You're going to see. I don't do things to prove nothing to nobody.
Right.
Just, I don't complain about my ashes. I just show my flames when I become the phoenix.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank
The people that recognize it, they'll recognize it. He know how many years we've been trying to get at each other, back and forth. Like we've been trying to make it happen,
100.
But I would get to it, and I'm like, then we're going to do it. It's going to be dope. Then so-and-so going to own it. And never mind. So that's like my little quantum leap relationship with, the late great J Dilla.
Little. Yeah.
There's a whole lot more to it, though.
Timothy, you're a historian, and you recently got 2 pieces of equipment from Dilla's mom, Ma Dukes, in the Smithsonian.
We absolutely did, yes.
Out of the entire history of hip-hop and everything that you could really obtain for the Smithsonian, why these 2 pieces of equipment from Dilla?
Because it's important, and it matters, and he is an essential piece of the overall trajectory of music in general, not just hip-hop. And for this new museum, the National Museum of African American History and Culture, he is a quintessential part of the African American history in terms of music. So why wouldn't I?
There you go.
Spinna, you said, and now I want to open up the floor to everybody to chime in and contribute. Spinna, you said that Dilla had, I'm paraphrasing right now, the uncanny ability to take the most underrated song, like songs that no one would, like the most obscure songs, and he'd find them and then he would repurpose them. Can we talk about that?
Well, you know, and myself being a collector and being a producer, again, I got to go back to that to say that a lot of us producers, when we're making beats or whatever, the sample source is from old records, right? And a lot of times, you know, we would be looking for drum breaks or looking for that perfect groove to put in your drum machine and chop up and make the beat. And in my discoveries over time, collecting a lot of the source material that Dilla has used over time, you know, I would have a lot of the records, but he would always take, first of all, a lot of the records would be like dollar bin records, you know?
Yeah.
Where, you know, in the history of digging in the crates and making beats, you know, back in the days, like in the early 90s, a lot of us would go for like straight funk or straight soul, expensive collectible rare records that have value. But Dilla was like, forget all of that. I'm going to dig in the 50-cent bin or the dollar bin or the $2 bin and pull out these, you know, random ass rock records, or it could be anything. It could be like an experimental, you know, psychedelic rock or whatever, you know. And a lot of times I would find that if a record has an obvious drum break on it, or something very obvious, he would not use it. Yeah. He would find the weirdest, most uncanny, unlikely piece of a record to chop up and freak. And then when you finally discover what he used, you're just like, you throw your hands up. You're just like, it's like, this dude, man, like really, like, that's where we going with it. Yeah. And he was special for that. He was really special for that. Like he changed the game. He made you realize that it really didn't matter where it came from. It's all about your ear. It's all about what you hear and your perception of and how the music translated to you and you know, your vision and how you put it together. You know what I'm saying? Like it's magical.
You know when you're like busy doing something and somebody say, call me, man, call me real fast. I got something to tell you. It's like, when producers talk, it be about Dilla samples.
Right. Oh, like we found another one.
It's like, you know, in my, you know, I have like 6 producers on my team. And so we sit in the studio, like several rooms we sit in each to make a beat. And, you know, you're going through records and you hear somebody out of the blue say, oh, fuck, like, loud, like.
You knew what it was automatically.
And you're like, what? You run in the room and say, what? You say, man, listen to this. And you listen to the sample, you're like, oh, my God. It just causes frenzy, man. It just, you'll call Spinna like, yo, man, do you have the record, the Lamont Dozier record, such and such? Yeah, I got it. Yo, go to track 3 and skim through the song. I mean, I just came from his house a few days ago, and I went over there for one purpose, and it, like you said, it became just a let's see what Dilla chopped up today. That's what it turned into. And he's like, yo, this is my shelf with all Dilla samples. So he's like, have you heard the sample to Much Better All? Love It Here? Have you heard the sample to this? Have you heard the sample to this? Nah. So he'll pull it out and he'll play it, and it's like, it's the ultimate piss off over and over
every
and
time.
over and over. Every time.
And that's what made him special. That's what made him special.
Every time.
Hey, I can play you something real quick if you want. I can play something real
Okay, do me a favor, bro. Do me a favor. To show the brilliance of the people, you know, because we kind of get confused and think people understand what sampling actually is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so do you have the sample to, well, play Claire. You have Claire? Okay. So I'm going to walk y'all. For people to understand what sampling is, I'm going to walk you through this. Okay.
That's right.
Take some notes.
That's right. Walk them through.
This is the ultimate test that people to understand and say that samplers are not musicians, and we don't understand chord progression and all these musical theory things that we just think we don't understand. This is Claire. Okay, so play the end of Claire.
I'm gonna drop it from the top.
Drop from the top and then go to the right.
Because when you hear how
right
unlikely, you like, what?
Okay, right. Go ahead. Do that.
The moment I met you, I I felt as if something somewhere had happened to me, which I couldn't see, but then
Y'all already weirded out, right? Y'all weirded out, right?
I met you again.
Mind you, this is a jazz a cappella group called Singers Unlimited.
Which begs the idea also of hip-hop musicians. People don't understand the encyclopedia that's going on of music up here with the millions of pieces of vinyl we have in our house.
Yeah.
So, okay, now play what Dilla did to it.
Show 'em. That's like,
Right? So that's the sample, but check this out. But then it's a play on words. It's a play on words. The name of the song is called Claire. The name of the Slum Village record is called Players. Players.
So all those dummies at the house thinking players, singing players, and then we hear Claire, we're like, he's saying Claire.
Right.
So,
you know
so he
what?
found a way to trick us into believing.
If we said it enough, you going to believe that it was it. Even though,
But the thing is this, I'm going to give Knight from Spinna something I know they don't know about that record. The drums.
I know what the drums are. I know. That's the drums.
Yeah. Okay. They own it. They own it. This is the thing.
Now, these are the drums for what we just heard. These are the drums. You slowed it down, but here it comes.
Yep.
We already heard it.
Yeah, that was it
It
right
already
there.
went by, so it's really like
The thing about
half a
Dilla
bar.
is this. Yeah. Yeah, he killed that.
Yeah, that's the drums.
That's it.
Yeah.
So a common record like Rapper's Delight that everyone knows, but no producer would ever think to loop that record up for drums.
I didn't
just
know.
with it.
I didn't know.
You know,
But you gonna say something, RJ?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that beat tape that had Move on it and the inspiration behind it. For a long time, Spinna and everybody know that Frank and Dank was what Dilla would call the mojo. All right. So after a certain point, when they moved to Canada, I stepped in as the mojo. So he would call me to come to the studio, and eventually, when he went to the hospital, he was out in Cali. And he came to the Selfish video shoot with Kanye. So we were sitting there, and we was talking trash, like how Kanye killing him on the beats. So he said, "Oh, you think he killing me on the beats?" So he went, got this machine, and he didn't mess with nothing but soul samples. And that was the whole purpose of why he made that beat tape, was to show that he is killing everybody on the beats. That was to prove to me that Kanye wasn't killing them. That was the whole reason. And that's how competitive he was.
Well, so because of that, and here's my theory, and you all can prove me right or wrong. You can essentially get an understanding of any kind of music just with the Dilla tracks and the samples and the beats. Right. There is everything. There is everything. Right. You unpack Dilla's work, And there is a complete picture of not just American music, but of music, right?
Running.
I mean, that would be a great project, wouldn't it? To just like document. That's a good idea.
That would be crazy.
But I mean, and that's what I mean. I mean, we could do this all night.
We can do
right?
this all night.
And you would
I
have
wanna do another
everyone
example.
here
Can we have
would
another example
leave.
of this?
Everyone here would leave with an understanding of Dilla's work, and then all of the people who contributed to the work that he selected from. And there is a complete picture. And so, I mean, but at the same time, he is using this trajectory and he's using this history, but he is also inserting himself into it because nothing he did is old. Everything he did was completely brand new and fresh.
Right.
So it's this amazing balance that he achieved. And I mean, I might be the only one here who never actually met him in person.
I haven't either.
Okay. You know, I only understand him and his music through, I'm the quintessential example of loving him without even knowing I loved it. I am the prime example, you know, you talking about riding around in the car and, you know, listening to me. That was me. And it wasn't until fast forward 15, 20 years later, here I am, you know, understanding all of this. Not really 15 or 20 years. That's not true. But, you know, and then I got it. And I thought back, okay, well, I love that song, and by this Erica, and that, and I was like, wow, those are all Dilla beats. Those, my favorites, you know, were all Dilla beats.
Yep.
And then dig a little deeper, and here is this complete unpacking of American music history. And then he fits right in there. And so a lot of the folks, you know, this was one of the things that was really interesting for my Dukes to understand and to witness last year when she came to see his equipment in the Smithsonian storage facility. Picture the end of Indiana Jones, okay? And so we're looking, you know, his MPC and the Moog are there, and right next to it, we happen to be shooting James Brown's organ and speaker box at the same day.
Wow.
And she told me right then and there on the spot, you know, the first time he got up and danced was to James Brown in the living room. And I was like, okay, well, there it is, right? Right here. So, you know, here he is now on the shelf, quite literally with his musical heroes. And they are now his peers in the history books and forever.
That's amazing.
So, I mean, that...
You said you want to do it again. You want
Yeah,
to do
I want to
it
hit like
I
want to hit another example.
There's another one. There's another one.
Rick James?
Please.
Should we do the Rick James?
Yeah, let's do that.
Can we
do that?
Can we stump these two at some point? Is that possible?
Okay. Wow. Let's give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. This killed me. This killed me.
Yeah, it killed me too. It killed me too.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. We know what that is. Oh, she had buzzes like, Yep. Yep.
Keep on.
Yep. Yep.
Keep on.
I would have
Keep on. Keep on. Keep on. Keep on.
That's it.
Keep on.
Yes.
My move.
Can we do one more? Can we do
One more.
Okay, also for the people who don't understand, when we sit in a room and hit pads like we're crazy, okay, play the Escorts.
Oh, bro.
You know what? Just play Don't Cry. Play Don't Cry. Because the sample comes on before. So people can watch my finger.
Watch the
hitting
finger.
pad.
Not the flick of the wrist, the finger.
Flick of the finger. Dilla had this thing where he'll take the record without changing the pitch and smushing the record, right? So this is.
So he was literally an alchemist with the music.
Yes.
Yeah. He understood that once you smush it together, the bass line goes doom, 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 two, doom, doom, doom. It brings a bounce to it. So it's not really he's playing the sample. He's playing the drums, and everything's just coming to get like this.
Yeah, it's
crazy. The symmetry.
You know, I think you guys
to that.
just answered Musiq's question about why he wasn't bigger than he was. And I want to quote you, Timothy, because you said about Dilla's music that everyone who pays attention to hip-hop has heard Dilla's work, whether they realize it or not. So I think most of the producers that we champion them because the music is obvious. Mm. And it's in your face, and it's big, and it's larger than life. Whereas Dilla's, you got to dig so deep into the service.
Right. You know it's his, but at the same time, everything that he did was so special for those people he made that for. You know, like it's all about the balance. He's got his signature, but it's for that person, and it just as much embodies that person as it does his own work. It's an amazing relationship that he had, and that's one of the things that is just amazing, is that to be so dedicated to the music, to be just fiercely dedicated to music and as a first love, that's rare. A lot, to have that kind of a level and to not compromise, to be raised up in a mainstream environment, to continue with integrity is phenomenal.
Yeah, Dilla turned down a lot of work, like $1 million work. Like NSYNC wanted to work with Dilla. He was like, "Nah, I'm not doing it."
Yeah.
A lot of work.
He turned down Blackstreet, Teddy Riley, all of them.
Dr. Dre, anybody? No, not doing it. That's because he want to do what Dilla want to do.
That's right.
And
that's what he do.
Did you guys hear this weekend? This past weekend, as Dr. Dre premiered his
I saw that.
his show, The Pharmacy, on Beats, Apple Beats. They were asking him who he wanted to play out of everyone that he's ever played, and he was I just want to play Dilla.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah. Doctor, it's on
yes,
video.
He just said that.
Wasn't that his favorite?
He just says he bows down to Dilla.
Yeah, he showed
which is because it's Dr. Dre.
That's fresh.
You know, let's have some more fun with this music, man. You guys have put together some of your favorite songs, and the way I see it, this is like kind of like a mixtape. So let's go over these records that some of you guys have selected, and let's talk about why these records are special to you. Let's start with you, Amp. You said the song "Fantastic." Can you give us a taste?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, this is an early time for Dilla for me, and see, I experienced Dilla early because he would come knock on my back door and go in my basement and work, and I have to sit down there and listen to it, So sometimes I'll be sitting upstairs and be like, damn, what the hell did he? So I had to run downstairs and be like, man, how did you? Because he would do things different. I mean, we talked about a lot of different things, like Spinna was saying, we would talk about bars, or 5 bars, or 3 bars, and just stepping outside the box. And he thought outside the box like that.
Yes.
So, I mean, I experienced a lot of different things with Dilla, and the most amazing story is when I made the introduction to T3 and Dilla to Tip. people were saying, damn, Dilla need to hook you up, man. How come he hooked you up? And I was like, because I had no expectations.
Right.
I did it because I want to see him shine. I want to see him put Detroit on the map as a producer, and also just put him on the map because it's just amazing. He was just amazing. So to me, it was just like, wow, this kid is crazy. So what happened was I was chilling at home one day, and my boy called me and said, hey, man, I'm at the barbershop. This dude just bought me some zips. He's like, I'm going to bring him over. I want you to make some beats for me, and you can have them. So he brought the disc over to me. He said he paid $100 for them and gave me the zips, and I look at them, and lo and behold, it's the fantastic zip and about 6 other zips of Dilla's.
Wow.
So I was like, damn, this is crazy. How did this kid got these Dilla zips from the NPC at the barbershop? So I called him. Because he's been saying to me all this time, yeah, I'm going to hook you up, man. You know, I'm going to hook you up. I was like, man, don't worry about that. Them other cats is talking shit. I'm not even tripping about that. You know, my thing is like karma works in amazing ways.
Yeah.
So I did that out of love of my heart to help you because I love the shit that you make. Because the beats that he used to make, I'd be sitting upstairs like, damn, I'm learning some shit here. I taught him how to use the machine.
You're learning what you taught him.
I taught him how to use the machine. He's teaching me some shit, right? Yeah. So I called him. I said, Dilla, yo, man, this kid brought these zips over here. They're all yours. He's like, oh, yeah. When I moved, you know, from the hood out to I'm still in Corner Garden, see. I'm probably the last survivor in Corner
Which is
Garden.
the hood, right?
So he moved to the suburbs. When he moved, the movers stole his zips.
Oh, my God.
Unbelievable. I was like, man, well, come get him, man. I got him right here. It's like, you know what? You can have them. I want you to keep them because I need you to have those. I was like, for real?
Oh, wow.
What am I going to do with them? So that Fantastic was always a favorite to me because it was the first zip that I pulled out that bag. Besides, the song is amazing.
This is my number one favorite.
These y'all niggas just gotta test the best. It's the Fantastic. I'm a ride, incarnated. The old star made it back to earth, bro.
Oh no!
So, right.
No.
Your knife.
So. So for y'all, where's that sample from? Because I'm not a record head, right? Because here I am, a musician trying to make dope beats.
Herbie Hancock.
Herbie Hancock.
Knocks me out the box with records in my basement of my record.
Herbie Hancock.
I'm like, where'd that sample come from? I was like, what? This?
Knife, you got a record that you were telling us backstage. That's one of your favorites.
Yeah, that's fine.
Got It Till It's Gone?
Got Till It's Gone.
Yeah. Can we hear that?
Yeah, that was a great song.
Which, you know, that's the whole thing about, now we're entering what music was talking about, the nastiness of the industry, where somebody like the genius of Dilla, they might not use his name on a production level. And Janet Jackson's Got Till It's Gone is one of those records. Look, what? Anybody, what?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can tell by the, you know, the drums.
That's
and
not,
the way they
that's
swing.
Not, that's not flight talk.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
That is
that's not.
That's not flight time.
And let's keep it all the way. You know, I'm a big person on history and legacy. Let's take nothing away from Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
No, not at all. It's just not.
Let's just put that out there. But we know that's a swing that, and so he did a remix called JD's Revenge, right?
Woo!
You know,
that's wicked. That's wicked.
Yeah.
And
that's
and
wicked. You know that's wicked.
and so that's, you know.
Yeah.
Can we
No,
get
which one
So
you want?
that's
You want
true.
the Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis remake?
Okay.
Or you want
Okay, they should get right.
And so that was actually We had an overlap on a favorite.
Got Till It's Gone.
So that was also one of my favorites, but for completely different
This is the Jimmy
reasons.
Jam and Terry Lewis remake, pretty much note for note, swing for swing, snares, all that. So they can get the credit for it based on the Dilla blueprint. It's the original.
Joni Mitchell.
How do you play it? Making some bass like it's a like that shit is hard. That shit's hard to do. Yeah, that's the reason. They should have went with that one.
This is JD's Revenge right here.
That's crazy.
Oh,
yeah. Spinna.
So can I just?
You got some records here.
So we overlapped on that one,
Huh?
and I want to point out. So another example. So me, growing up in northern Wisconsin to some hippie parents listening to bluegrass and folk music, I rocked out to Joni Mitchell my whole life. Right, Joni Mitchell for such a long time was crazy in my world. So was Janet Jackson. And then here they come together, and it's because of hip hop. Like that was like all of my worlds in one song. You know, who does that?
Spinna, you got some records on here, man. Which one do you want to choose?
Well, we talked about two of them already. I had Wordplay and Stakes Is High, but what was
Little Brother Black?
Yes, Little Brother Black Star from the Hurricane soundtrack.
And why? Why is this one here?
Well, the sample is Roy Ayers, which we first heard that sample on a Pete Rock album, Mecca and the Soul Brother, which is just an interlude, right? Main ingredient, right? And Dilla, I'm sure, because Pete Rock was Dilla's favorite producer, hip hop wise, right? All of ours, yeah. He was one of those guys that changed the face of hip hop. So, you know, I'm guessing that him flipping this record was his homage to Pete, but he murdered the record. and legend has it, according to Questlove's blog about this beat, was he visited him in Detroit, and you know, Dilla was messing around with the record, saying, "I'm gonna reflip this or whatever," and Quest left and wasn't gone very long, and he came back and it was done, and it's a masterpiece. And he just took many, again, like the Escorts thing we heard earlier, just very, like many different pieces of the record, but like I actually did a little experiment where I recreated this, because there's no instrumental for this track. So I really wanted to learn how he put it together, and there's on Blink 47's website, I demonstrated that on my MPC, but he put his work in because he took pieces of the record from different sections of the song. It wasn't like part of one loop or part of like an 8-bar loop. Nah. It was like from maybe 1 minute in, 2 minutes in, and later on in the song, 3 pieces, 4, 6, 8 pieces, and put it together and made this.
That's my favorite thing.
Masterpiece.
I'm going to go ahead and play that Roy Ayers for you. Then I'm going
to... Now listen. We ain't got time to be tired. We got a long, long way to go. That's right. A long, long, long way to go. We ain't got time to be tired.
Yeah, doing this song. Your revolution will not be televised or broadcast live on air. Brother, man, most of that's personal. You know what I'm saying? You gotta start from right up here.
Now listen.
You know you can't stop. You know you can't stop. You know you can't stop. You know you can't stop.
That's crazy.
We rap that ain't gods. Ain't nobody can't start. No party like us. They crush the same hearts. Mostly the same marks. Walking the main blocks painted with blood is still hot. So deep it stains up.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Georgia.
Yes, sir. Oh, a song?
Yes.
I'm halfway drunk off this music right now. How I feel. You know what? Because you know what I love. I like it when he chopped too. I like play that Airworks for me, from that Donuts. Play some of that Airworks. Yes. That right there. Plus I'm a Libra, so I need that air. Yeah. Watch that right there. The way he cut that. That shit right there.
Yeah, this one.
Black people on the record.
That's crazy.
That right there?
That right there.
Yeah.
That's the producer speaking.
Come on.
I don't really care.
It's like that's a child of the century.
Music, we didn't get your list.
For like to me that right there.
If you would have
That's
named a
Cabby
song,
right
music.
Oh, it's L.V. Johnson. Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, go ahead. The sample is the L.V. Johnson record, soul record.
That is not like remotely a fair question. At all.
We're not here for the fair questions.
No stretch of the imagination is that, because a lot of them are things that actually never got placed, that are now coming out. So that's why when Donuts came out, I was like, yes, because I had these beats already, and I've been since then, But just off the top of my head, I would have to go with Won't Do.
Oh,
Won't Do.
It's a simple. And plus, I'm a singer. So when Dilla sings, I'm like,
With the footsteps in the dark, Isley Brother drums.
Yes.
Yo.
Yep.
He ain't even caught something.
Young RJ.
Yo. What did I have on my list?
You ain't don't nobody care about us.
Yeah. Let me see what I'm
Don't nobody care about us?
Nah, I
Reminisce and pause.
I probably would have to say Reminisce. And the reason why I would pick Reminisce is because it's like the bass line is from like 3 different separate records that he knew the key of the song and pieced it together to make one bass line. So, and took pieces from other songs and added in the melody and added bass notes and played keys on there. And so that's what I would say, because just to be able to do that is 3 different bass samples from different records to make one bass line is insane.
That's hard.
You'd have to be insane.
Yeah, he was.
That's hard.
Yo, Just when I think that I forgot you, I hear that dub that we used to rock to. Just when I think I'm getting on without you, somebody passed and asked me about you. Was in the back of a cab the other day. Swear to God I saw you walking past the other way. My heart rushed, my face flushed. Tell the driver hit the brakes, slow the pace up. Wait up, it wasn't you. Realized it's some mirage I was running to. Damn, can the effects of love and time cause the mind to trick the eye? I wonder how you're getting by. And all the stars still in your eyes. Do you still just get the vibe? You break the bank and spend the time. Or reminisce and shift the time to when you was mine.
Years ago, in the midst of hallway and sliding doors.
Now you said that was 3 different records.
Yeah, I was 3 different jazz records that had open bass parts, and he knew exactly where to tune it when he was listening to it. And just for him to be able to piece that together to know what's on what record is insane.
That's crazy.
My sincere hope for all of this, I'm assuming there's a lot of hip hop fans in the audience, but I'm assuming there's also a lot of non-hip hop fans in the audience as well. So I'm hoping that the people who don't listen to hip hop every day understand what you hear now is much different. That this is what we're talking about when we mean this is hip hop.
Yes.
There's no guns involved. There's no drugs involved. There's nobody died. There's no chains. It's none of that.
That's right.
This is the purest, for my non-hip hop even audience, this is the purest form of it.
Yeah.
Once it gets to what music talks about, a mainstream level, sometimes this is not that anymore. And so that's what it.
I did 15 years. It's not that at
It's
all.
not that anymore. So a lot of people, for my non-hip-hop folk in the audience, when you listen to the artists, they say, well, this is the person that won the hip-hop on the Billboard Awards, or this is the person that won it. That's not what it is.
It's not Iggy. Georgia, what do you want to bow out with? I mean, I'm sorry, Georgia.
You just
Timothy.
yeah.
I got you, Timothy.
Well, can I do 2 extremes? One would be the working on it over here, right?
Yeah, working on it. Yeah, working on it.
Like over here, total. So out of the box in every way possible. Just like he wasn't afraid, right? Not afraid to go there and do that. Extreme for me, anyway. Opposite end of the spectrum. Didn't you know? Effortless. Effortless.
Didn't you know?
Just like, right?
Yeah.
But same guy. Different sides of the coin.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you
Yeah, that's insane. That's insanity right there. That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, he made it better. He made us all better.
So I have a tiny guilty confession to make. So I have a bad habit, like I'm addicted to it. I would take Dilla beats, and I would get like my favorite part, and I would put it in Pro Tools, and I would just loop it. So for that, for me, is the guitar that la la. I would just do like an 8-bar loop of that, and then I would have it be like a 30-minute song, and then I would just play
just 30 minutes.
And I would just have it on, just to have it on, like low grade through a house where I would come home and it would still be on. Like,
that's crazy. It's crazy. Last but not least, T3. Who with you?
One of my favorite joints is the Dilla joint. Which much more, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And, I mean,
Much more.
Yeah,
Why?
I mean, number one is it's a sample trick you can sometimes use called phasing out. And basically what you're doing is taking out half of the music, half of the vocals. And I didn't, and you know, it was one of my favorite joints anyway. And when I heard him do that, it was just like incredible because I never heard I was like, you know, it just blew my mind. And I wanted that beat for Slum. But that's another story. But yeah, so I was happy what De La did to it. But yeah, that's one of my favorite joints. Yeah, just because of the phasing out sample thing that a lot of cats don't even know about. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They ask you to speak up, music.
Oh, no, I ain't saying nothing.
Can't help it
All right, this is LTD. The song is called Love Ballad.
That's grown people music right there.
What a difference.
I'm gonna cut you to the song. The song is long, and the part that they sampled is way further in the song. But all right, it is at the end. I'm gonna go. I got you, Knife. I got you, Knife.
It's a sacred song, you know.
He chopped it too. It was worth the wait, right? It's worth the wait. Worth the wait.
For 15 seconds of fame, microwave popcorn ass. Yeah, we give you much more. Longevity, baby. And yo, Dave. Down.
Y'all go ahead and thank Knife. Y'all go ahead and thank Knife Wonder for making me play that joint to the end.
That's a crazy mixtape right there.
We done. We can't do one more. We done for right now.
I'm supposed to open up the floor to questions, but sure. We could do one more.
One more.
I got mine too, so.
Smokey Robinson. Smokey Robinson, much better off.
What? Oh, he killed it. Yes.
Smokey Robinson, much better off.
Yes. That's right. Yes. Incredible sound. Yeah, I love it.
Since you
Yeah.
The mixtape, it's on the way.
Yeah. But I love it here, just think if I wasn't here. My uncles and cousins here, my struggles and come-ups here. We sense the trouble near, you bubble, we double dare. The block is ours and we don't want to share. But I love it here, just think if I wasn't here. My uncles and cousins here, my struggles and come-ups here. We sense the trouble near, you bubble, we double dare. The block is ours and we don't want to share. Feel my...
Yeah. Smart growth.
Yeah.
The mixtape, it's on the way.
Yeah.
It's just sitting on there. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites too. Yeah. Incredible chop.
You know what?
Incredible.
I got to open up the floor for some questions, but I do want to play my song that I because it's the most subtly but most emotional I've ever heard Dilla on a record as a MC, and it's so timely right now, and it's F the Police.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's fitting. You gotta play that one.
And it,
the views expressed on
such
this
a flip
recording
off
are solely
NWA.
those of the artist. And by no means do we encourage or condone violence against law officials.
It's for you. It's for you. Yeah, it's for all my street niggas. Feel it. On the count of three, say fuck the police. 1, 2, 3.
Fuck the police.
Yeah, fuck them. Applaud any nigga.
Damn right.
We could lose a few of them. We got enough of them. My niggas on the corner, they be dodging and ducking them. Bitches getting pulled over, end up fucking them. For real. And see, now we got these fake cops. They thought he had a gun. Made a mistake, cops. I hate cops. Turn on the TV. Is this another cop busted for illegal business? They out of control. They out of their minds. They pulling you over. They hopping inside. Just know you got drugs and know you got guns. And they know when they mad when they can't find none. Stupid. Don't you know they give in at the stash box? The he be in and need a key to get in it. Any offended people suck my balls. All y'all off the wall get stupid, dog. Don't hold back. Don't let go. Don't say damn. Just say whoa.
So let's open up the floor to some questions. There's 2 microphones, I guess, on each side. So if you guys want to line up.
Hey, yo, Reg, can I get one? Can I get one real quick? Can I get one? Can I get one?
Yeah.
So my joint is Verbal Clap off the De La Soul joint. Y'all could go online and look up the story on this particular track here, but this joint is ill.
NYC gave you the ball, so how you gonna hate us? We creators of the East Coast stars. If you ask me, I tell you there's no calm, but I'm still humble even though I will crumble hard. Some call them, some call them, some call them, some call them, some call them.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
We can do this all night.
Hey, and can we also just...
It's all night. We're going to start over here.
Can we just... So he does not have a cheat sheet back there. He is doing all this on the fly right here, right now. So let's give him a little round of applause.
Hey, by the way, my name is DJ RBI. I just want to say that real quick. I'm a DMV representative, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. First of all, God bless everybody. Peace to the Jedi Master. So the question, or really the comment, I was appreciating what y'all threw down about Claire. And I'm reminded of what he did with Lightworks. Yeah. And I'm wondering if he did and if anybody wanted to comment on whether or not he did the same play on words with the lady's voice on Lightworks. About light up the spliffs or something like that. If you want to hit that, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you.
Well, that was a straight off the record. Yeah. It wasn't. I don't think that was a wordplay thing at all. It was straight off the record.
But sometimes we would do that. Like we had this one joint on J Dilla called "Stupid Ass Lies."
Oh yeah.
It didn't really say "stupid ass lies." Those are like separate pieces of vocals put together to say that.
Probably the best representation we didn't talk about is when he chopped up James Brown for "I Don't Know."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
When he just put.
He took pieces of James Brown's. For those who don't know,
I don't know. 1, 2, 3, and put it all through, and them fools rhymed around it.
That was clever.
I like this. Combat Jack just gave me the perfect segue to my question, and just I wonder why he's so slept on as an MC. It's probably because probably his genius as a producer overshadows it so much. But when I heard his verse, the opening verse of "Raise It Up,"
come on,
that cemented his status as best producer on the mic.
Yeah.
And also Combat Jack. Yeah. He also stated that he had a nondescript, understated essence. He never would be the guy to say, "I'm in the top 5" like a Kanye. Put himself in the top 5.
Right.
But his work speaks for itself. I think he's
That's
definitely
right.
the best producer on the mic.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
How y'all doing? Shout out to all y'all. Slum Village, dope. Knife, dope. Music. The irony part about it, I heard you say you don't like ballads. I promise y'all today was Throwback Thursday. I woke up, light my spliff. I had your whole catalog in my house today. My girl, we all stay home today. And we just listen to music. I promise you, the irony that you came out here, I'm like, bruh. 17, merry-go-round, bruh. Blessings, y'all.
Thank you.
All right, but it was ironic. I promise you, I was listening to you today. But
It wasn't
today,
me, it's the universe, bro.
all the way. So for J Dilla, right? I'm from D.C. Northwest. All I know, I'm from the ghetto. All I know was go-go and rap. You know, the hardcore stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a musician, so I promise you guys, it was just something about Farside. And I love Farside. It was just I was the weird kid. You know, I was staying in the house all the time, so I really listened to hip hop. When I got it, I didn't even know when I heard She Said. It was a remix. But it was J Dilla.
Yeah.
And from then on, all I know is Farside, Camp HD, Little Brother, like hip hop. And it was because of J Dilla. I didn't even know that was him. And once I figured it out all the way down the line, like, didn't you know? That came to me years. You are dope, DJ. You are dope. That's all I got to say, though. Blessings to all y'all, man. Blessings.
Thank you.
First, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. Seriously,
One of my favorite Dilla records that he produced for The Roots was Dynamite. And I was curious if Questlove actually added a drum to that record. If anyone ever played live with Dilla as he produced.
They left it as is.
Yeah, that was straight up.
Left it as is. Yep, they left it as is.
Sir.
All right, I speak a little fast. I'm going to try to slow down, make sure I get the question out.
Slow it down.
All right, thank you very much, brother. So, when we have these types of things, I always try to ask Knife the sample to comfortable. And he tells it to me, I forget, and I come back. But, so the questions are for you two. I want to know, get a story from you, RJ, about any, like, tips and tricks you learned from him, like you kept and you still use them day to day. And for T3, your favorite studio experience in recording Volume 1.
Okay.
Then I got like a follow-up on that if I can do it.
Okay.
Oh, you got a question.
As far as tips and tricks, I mean, he showed me from step editing in the 3000 to swing the drums, effects. I didn't even know 3000 had effects until he showed me, but yeah, the effects, filtering, cutting up, truncating the drums to the track, not just using the kick as it come, but make it your own. He wouldn't give me all of them. Last conversation we had with Dilla was right before he moved out to Cali. He was swamped with work, and he was asking me to help him with some remixes, and I was like, why don't you just get a production team? And he was like, I don't want nobody to know everything about my sound. So I was like, damn, that's crazy. I didn't know he was gonna pass, but it make perfect sense.
Yeah, it does. Story from Volume 1. I remember we used to go to a temporary service to work, get our $30 a day. Me, him, Proof, by 10, and it was this guy. He might be mentally challenged, but for whatever reason, sorry. But anyway, he was asking for his check, and we ended up making that into a whole song. What is it on JD8? Is that on JD8? Hock and Pucky? Yeah. It was basically
Volume 1.
No, it was Volume 1. We was basically mimicking this guy who had a speech impediment and kind of put it into a record. I know that's bad, right? That is bad, right? But I find humor in a lot of things. I think if you can't laugh at yourself, So that's a story nobody knows about.
Thank you. Next.
Listening to you all talk about J Dilla's work, to me it just sounds like currency. So now, is it even possible to get your hand on J Dilla dollars? Like, if I'm not you, if I wasn't in your shoes in the 90s or the early 2000s, is it possible to just get one?
Right.
One J Dilla beat?
Yes. Because, I have some lyrics, but,
You gonna talk to my dudes about it.
Oh, we thought some real money. Oh, okay.
Come up. She's on the come up.
This is a true question.
Did you say you want a beat? Is that what you said?
Not for free. I'm saying, where
She's
can
on
you
the
even
come
find them
up.
anymore? Because y'all would trade them and
right.
It's like so.
Yeah, it is.
Open track. Yeah.
It is. It's some jewels still.
Yes, indeed.
That's unused jewels. Yeah, it is.
Yes, indeed.
It is some jewels. Now, everybody is holding jewels like this though, guarded, mostly by the estate.
Because I thought they were all hoarded.
Nope, nah. It's a couple of Jews still, but and then you got people like YG who just got a bunch of stuff that you just never gonna get.
No, he got stuff. He got video, everything.
He got video, but I think eventually, if it's done right, it's all about being done right. If it's the right situation, the right thing, everybody holding on to their few Jews, like we said. Like you said, they was trading them like trading cards, so we had to slow it all the way down to like secret meeting type of.
Right, because there's like levels to it. Okay, there's levels to it. There's the ones that we all know have been released that we've been talking about. Everybody can find the samples to. They've been recorded, they've been documented. People get pub off of it. There's that released, bought, paid for. Then there's ones that he released. That is just him. He controls it. We put it out. It's his own idea. I wanted these beats for these reasons. Okay. Then there's all that we all collectively know. It's like, oh, you got that one too? Oh, okay. Oh, you got that one too? Oh, okay. Now, there is a whole vault of it that nobody got. I guess I said gots. That nobody got, or a select few people have. And that's what he's referring to. Like, you can get to it, but it got to be done right, because there's been a lot of crap that went down with
I know
that
his
legacy.
beat's not for everybody. I'm just saying, like, if I met somebody who had one and I offered them some cash, they was like, get your whack ass out of here. Or they was like, okay.
Shoot your shot, girl.
My juice got
Shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot. I ain't mad at you.
No, that's what's up.
Thank you.
The fact that you got the love, that's what's up, yeah.
Sir.
Excuse me, I'm kind of nervous whenever I talk in front of people. But I had like a couple questions and just a couple ideas. First of all, how did nobody play Climax?
One question.
I'll stick to one question. First of all, my favorite J Dilla beats Climax has to be Climax off of Fantastic Rhyme too. That shit's crazy. But my kind of like comment is kind of a question is like, so I got into JD not really off of knowing about how to sample, but just like the mood of the music, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I'm curious, I had no idea of the technical aspect of it, and I'm curious, like me as a sampler, I produce too, I'm not really a great like sampler like him in terms of knowing all the technicalities of it. So I'm curious what you guys think about a producer like Kanye, who in my opinion is more like he'll take an 8-bar loop and just like loop it. Like, and how do you guys feel in regards to the artistic quality of a beat like that in comparison to like a J Dilla beat where he's almost even going out of his way to do kind of like creative shit on the sampling?
It's no comparison.
It's really no comparison. There's a going back to the hip hop conversation. When we're talking about the music, popularity doesn't matter, and some people can't understand that concept. That popularity is not. If you argue with somebody off the street and say Kanye is better than Dilla, they might say, yeah, because I love Kanye and he's on TV and this. But music, there's no competition really. You know what I mean? Even Kanye probably would tell you that.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
To be honest, I mean, there's no secret. I mean, I saw that firsthand when he did Common's B and he had Dilla on there twice. And that's a lot for Kanye to go outside to say, I'm not going to produce the whole thing. And he went and got Dilla for 2 jams off for Common's B. So it's really no competition. You know what I mean? Once trust and believe, and Spinna knows this, once all the producers get in the room, there is no such thing as popularity. No. The real ones know. They're right.
That's right.
The real ones. Yep. The real.
You know, that was a great question, and unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap it up because we're going to have to be out of this room by 8 o'clock. But can we get a strong round of applause for everyone who contributed? This is amazing. Great audience. Thank you. Thanks so much, everybody. I appreciate this. This is great.